Hi everyone. We have a few new features coming into Design Space, just some new little things that I wanted to show you around with so that you'd have a better idea how to use them when you get them. I currently have them in my beta Design Space, and I'm not sure if everybody has all of these items yet or when for sure they'll make it to live, but I just thought I'd give you a heads up. So this is mostly your screen on the computer when you first open Design Space, and these up here are our guided workflows. We've had these for a little while now, but we've got some new ones. The vinyl decal I've shown you before. You get to pick a water bottle, notebook, mug, whatever you want to work on. I can show you an example here of a water bottle. Let's say we're going to do a 24-ounce one, and it'll give us the measurements that it feels are appropriate for that size. And then you can see that it gives you a much smaller work area on your screen. And this is to help you so that you don't accidentally make something too big. Let's say, for instance, we want to use this particular item on this water bottle. It will automatically center it in this area, and it kind of shows you a preview over here in the corner that it assumes is what it'll look like when you're done. But now let's say for a minute that we decide to go bigger and, well, we run some of it off the edge. Notice over here, you don't see that edge anymore. Well, it's because it's grayed out because it's off of the work area. If we click Make It, we're going to see that it also cut it off here. So this will help you out in case you accidentally were to make something too big. You'll notice right away that something's not right when you go to make it. So the idea is you just keep your designs within this area and they will go the way you want them to go. So that's a really cool feature. And that works the same for your iron-on shirt. The iron-on shirt is just a little bit more detailed. We're going to replace and give it a second. It's popping up. There we go. You get to pick what type of shirt you're going to do, or you could just pick a custom size. Let's say we're going to go with a women's large. It tells me that my design should be no more than 8 by 8. And when I tell it to create, it gives me an 8 by 8 square. And it's the exact same thing. I pick a design, it somewhat centers it for me. You can move it wherever you want. You don't have to leave it there. If I move it up here, notice how it also moves it on my shirt. If I move it down here, it also moves it on my shirt. Now, obviously, it's going to end up wherever you iron it on. So that part doesn't matter. But this is the same thing. So let's say I've got this and I really like this, but I don't really want this line over here. Well, you know what? I can just move it so that that line comes off the edge, but everything else is still here. Notice that blue part is now gone. If I click Make It, that blue part is not there. See the little fissure here? But that word that was going down the side is now gone. Pretty handy, huh? Saves you a lot of slicing and dicing. So I like that feature. Okay, now what is new here is that we now have a folded card and cardstock cutout. So I'll show you the folded card. We're going to replace. And let's just say I want to pick a blank card. You also have other options that'll give you a more guided idea as to what you might want to add to it. We're going to pick a blank. You can choose an A7, which is your 5 by 7, an A2, which is your invitation size, 4 by 5.5 roughly, or you can choose an R10, which is one of Cricut's pre-cut card sizes. I'm going to stick with an A7 and I'm going to tell it to create. Now this is my canvas. So it starts out over here on the left with a bunch of templates that you can pick from. You could pick a card that's just already here and ready to go. You could search for a card. You might have something specific in mind. How about, let's see, I'm going to tell it I want to do a get well card. Now it's going to give me a whole bunch of ideas that I could use on a get well card that are already pretty much done for me. I just grab one of these and it pops up on my screen. Now, as you can see, it's all ready to go. It's got my basic card base right here. It's got a layer that goes underneath, and it's got some writing. Now, at the moment, I have a Joy Extra selected. Let me make that a Maker 4. It's not going to connect to my machine because it's not on, but this way I can click the Make It button. Now, when we click Make It, it's going to show us our mats. Here's our little pink layer that's going to have the writing on it and use the pen. And then here's our beige layer that's going to do our card base. Pretty cool, right? gives you a really nice head start, and it's already ready to go with score lines and everything. This is another feature that I think is really handy, especially if you just are lacking for an idea. You know what you want to make, but you have no idea what design you want. Now we also have a cardstock cutout. We're going to replace again. This is stuff more like gift tags or little gift holder cards or bookmarks. Let's choose a gift holder. It's going to tell us the average size it feels like that should be. We'll tell it to create. And here's our canvas, once again, already set to that size. And then it gives us a whole bunch of designs that were already made to kind of fit this particular workspace. Let's pick this one. Oh, that's cute. And then obviously it's got your little cutouts to put a crayon in it. And you could make this bigger. You can go as big as this little canvas will let you go. Anything you put off the edge of this canvas, again, not going to cut, not going to draw. If we run it off the side, it's going to leave it out. But you can see you have an awful lot of stuff here that you can play with that gives you a guided head start. I think it's pretty awesome. Might want to check it out. Okay, now I'm going to show you something else. They did some changes to our templates. So when we go into a blank canvas, we used to have a template option over here. Now it's called layouts. So this is going to include most of the stuff that you remember before from the template. They're just designed more in categories now. So if we tell it t-shirt, it's going to give us all the different kinds of t-shirts that we could do. I'll pick an adult medium just so you can see. Your dark red line is distinguishing like where the edges of your design would be. And then this, or the edges of your shirt. And then your dotted red line or pink is going to show you where it thinks your design should fit. And this would be the front of the shirt. And then this over here would be where you would maybe put something on the back of the shirt. Now I'm going to get rid of this so it's out of the way. The hats, tote bags, wine bags, all of those are going to be the same thing. What's new here is that we have a cutaway card option. I'm going to pick an R20. That should be our basic A2 size card, right? Now I'm going to zoom into my screen a little bit and scoot over so that you guys can see this better. I was helping a member with a card. She wanted to do a cutaway card. The cutaway cards are pre-cut cards by Cricut, and you have a backer that goes on the inside of the front of the card. And after it cuts out, you weed it like you would vinyl, only in reverse. And then you have that really pretty backer card showing through. So what she had searched for was, she searched for Halloween cutaway card. Now, it should give you Halloween cutaway cards, but as we know, the search sometimes gives you a bunch of stuff that isn't that. Most of these are really cute, and she went to grab one and it cut out the whole card, and she couldn't figure out why. Well, I'm going to show you essentially how to fix this. We're just going to pick one. Okay, we're going to pick this one. Okay, so do you see how this is a solid shape here on the edge? If I make this fit, and again, we want to make sure that your design always fits within the little dotted line. You don't want to go all the way to the edge. Okay, that fits pretty good. I'm not centered, but for this, it doesn't matter. If I click make it on this right now, everything you see that's black is going to get cut off. So what's going to happen is it's just going to cut this big square right out of the middle of the front of your card. That is not what you want. So I'm going to show you how to fix it. We're going to go over here to shapes, and we're going to pick a square, and then I'm going to close this just to get it out of my way. And what I'm going to do, let's see. Okay, this one's got rounded edges. Let me see if I can get us a shape that's rounded. I'll use this one. Okay, now I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. I'm going to hold down my shift key so that it will rotate in, oops. Make sure I only have one thing selected. Now I'm going to hold my shift key and rotate so it rotates in a certain shape. Let me try that again. Here, I'll go down here where I'm not clicking on something else. Okay, let's get rid of this other square. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the inside of our design, kind of right up to where that border is. And then I'm going to make it as close to the size as I can of what's already there. Okay, and I think I might be a fraction too far on this side. Let me look. Okay, I can just barely see a little bit of white sticking out. That's what you want. Okay, now I'm going to select these two items, and I'm going to go up here to my pencil, and I'm going to slice. When you're doing a cutaway card or an insert card, this piece right here is what you want. You do not want this border piece. I didn't mean to rotate that. And this is just a spare. You can delete that too. And you don't want this piece either, as a rule. You only want this piece. And in my case, if you see what happened here, see how I've got a little tiny bit of an edge down there? I'm going to go grab another shape. This time I'm just going to grab a square. And I am going to bring it up here and size it so that I can cut that off. And again, I'm going to go to my pencil and I'm going to slice. Hopefully that got it all. Okay, that got it all. That was not Design Space's fault. That was all me. Okay, now I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to fit this into my area. Then I'll make it a little bit wider. Now, when it cuts this out, everything around here that you see that's white, that's your card front. That's the color of your card. All of that will remain, and it will just cut these black parts out, and then you'll weed them out, and your pretty backer piece will show behind it. Let me see if I can show you. Don't save. In this case, I'm going to choose that I'm going to do that on a card mat, because if this was a cutaway card, that's how I'd be doing it. So now you can see my design is up here, and you can see how, again, I appear to have an edge here that I did not get cut off well, but you won't do that. You'll do yours right. This would have cut out all of these black pieces, and then I'll weed them off. And it will make a really cool card when you're done. But you do have to be careful when you're doing cutaway cards. You don't want this outside border to be something that cuts, or it's just going to cut the whole front off your card. But having said that, I just wanted to show you the new layouts and the new features that are added to this to make things easier on you and make it easier for you starting out if you just need a little help getting your idea going. And I hope you get in there and play with all of this stuff. Happy crafting!